If in the beginning God created game, then one of the very first he would have sat down to play on the seventh day, comfortable in his ethereal gaming chair in front of his heavenly 486 PC, would be Doom. For those who lived under rocks in the early 1990s, or simply, dare I say, had not yet been miraculously conceived, Doom was, and still is, the benchmark, the mother of, the one and only, the original, and heck, some nostalgic folks may say, best first-person shooter. Yes, those rose-tinted visions of so-called better days past can get the better of game reviewers too. And frankly, what better example is there than this? Forget your Titanfalls, your Call of Duties, Battlefields and the like. Doom is the seed from which the great oaks of the FPS genre owe their towering branches. If history is your bag, and as history shows us how and why we got to where we are, then there simply is none finer an example than ID's sci-fi FPS masterpiece. Okay, so if we're being pedantic, then how could I not mention Wolfenstein 3D? ID Software's immediate precursor to Doom. Yes, it is true that Wolfenstein was an even earlier iteration of what we would call an FPS and was a big hit at the time, but in the context of historical and cultural significance from our modern-day perspective, this Nazi World War II shooter just doesn't cut the mustard when it comes to fulfilling this review's criteria as this genre's most defining title. Doom was the biggest game of its day, with the competing games that followed being simply known as Doom clones. Such was the benchmark status the game earned. It was originally released in 1993 as shareware, which broke the game up into 3 successively released episodes, but due to its incredible success, it earned a full retail release with numerous additions and modifications, or WADs, titled Final Doom in 1995. It spawned 2 great sequels in Doom 2 Hell on Earth, 1994, and Doom 3, 2004, as well as numerous iterations on a variety of platforms. It even got a not-so-great Hollywood movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in 2005. The game puts you in the head of a futuristic space marine, stationed to Mars as punishment for assaulting a senior officer within the shady, fascist-like intergalactic military organization known as the UAC, or Union Aerospace Corporation. You're a loose cannon, a steroided foot soldier with a lot to prove, which is gonna come in handy once the shit hits the fan, and boy does it ever. Shady experiments with teleportation gates between worlds goes horribly wrong, and before you can punch another superior in the face, you're staring down some seriously badass demons from hell, or some other such demonic realm, as they flood the stricken Martian facility through every orifice imaginable. God himself, peering into the monitor of his 486, would no doubt approve as now the only space marine left alive on this godforsaken world. You suit up and take the fight to a hellish variety of incredibly evil creatures ready to maim, burn, electrocute and mutilate any who stray in their path at any given opportunity. But what's the point of extraordinary enemies without extraordinary weapons to fight them with? Doom serves you well in this regard, with a healthy variety of badass weapons to keep the demons of hell at bay. In fact, there is so much to say about the weapons and indeed the enemies in Doom, you'll have to check out the full written review to get my personal take on those aspects of the game. Other items of interest you'll come across whilst exploring the nooks and crannies of the ravaged Martian base are armor upgrades, special overhealth stims to give you more than 100% health, map computers that reveal the entire level from a top-down map view, and radiation suits that keep you alive while dredging through rivers of toxic waste. Fortunately for the less adept FPS player, Doom offers up a wide variety of difficulty levels, from the humorously named "I'm Too Young to Die" to the aptly named "Nightmare." There's something for everyone when it comes to this monster-mashing game. Beware of that top difficulty setting though, as your enemies will respawn back to life moments after you've destroyed them. The game takes place across 3 chapters, each consisting of 9 levels. As you would expect, each level gets harder in a linear way, adding in more monsters and more complex maps to navigate. The balance is excellent, with the difficulty progressing at a manageable rate, with just enough intriguing secrets to keep you navigating off the beaten path throughout each complex you're journeying through. So, how does this 90s classic shooter hold up to the bells and whistles of the games of the here and now? Sure, its graphics and sound are of a lower fidelity, and the sophistication of level design, game modes, and storytelling are limited, but the core of the experience is just as enjoyable as it was in 1993. A wonderfully atmospheric and iconic game with such memorable enemies, weapons, music, and setting, the proof of its lasting success is in the pudding of the continued enthusiastic online community and mods that support the game to this day. The fact that all these years later another blockbuster game in the franchise is being developed, Doom 4, is further proof of this. Doom represents a level of imagination and ambitious setting that is rarely seen in the genre today. The good people of ID Software were not afraid to be dark, gruesome, and flamboyant with this game, and it's that sort of bold design mixed with great game mechanics that creates the potent iconography that stands the test of time that all game creators crave. Doom is the iconic FPS, regardless of what technology has brought to the table to advance the genre in the ensuing years. For all intents and purposes, every game that has come since is a Doom clone. Put simply, there is no higher praise for a game than that.